Hello, internet. It's hey, Leslie. Hello, as people come into this lovely Thursday afternoon, where I have a science dog who is shaking and going, "Mom, we were having quiet time. You have interrupted my quiet time, and you have disappointed me." I have a sad story. And I know that this is giving away exactly how deep I am into my. Oh, I have fixed the kitty ears, by the way. They have been recoded. They have been brought back to their original glory. I have sparkly kitty ears, and I'm very happy. So it's I got just to let you know how deep into my woman of a certain age yuppiedom I am. My dog follows me around the kitchen whining and crying and being like, "Mom, I need you now," whenever I am a chopping and a cutting and just making things splish splash around in stuff that could hurt him. And I'm like, you know what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get a little puppy Bjorn to hold him because it'll make him happy because he just wants to be cut. Because if I sit down and snuggle him, he's like, "Okay, I feel better now," and I get back up to keep going and doing my the things I should do to cook dinner, because I have to do things that don't always involve snuggling the dog. And he is sad while I'm doing those things. So I'm like, I'm going to get a little dog Bjorn and just keep going down my path of Los Angelano yuppiness. And I got it, and he fucking hates it. He's like, "Mom, you try to put me in that, I'm gonna just go to the other side of the room and glare at you like you fucking tortured me." Jason just asked what's happening. I'm describing me buying a little Bjorn for my dog, a doggy Bjorn, a thing to carry my dog like I'm an attachment parenting weirdo. Just to let you know, I'm at a weird place in my life. Okay, so that's my sad story of my dog reject. It's like the Bjorn's right here, the dog's right here. I'm trying to ease him into it. Like, after enough whining about the floor being cold, eventually he'll be like, "Fine." It's like he's fine. Like, if I tuck him into my sweatshirt and like wander around with him in my sweatshirt, he loves it. He's thrilled. He's like, "This is great. I'm snuggling with mommy and I'm not on the floor. I get to be a lazy little piece of dog." But I put him into the thing that's designed to do that. He's like, "Mom, this isn't okay. You spent money on me for a thing that was designed for my comfort for this. I'm not okay." Annoying little. Anyways, my dog is great. Just, he's a dog. He's doing dog. Anyway, so, hey, guess what? There's a vaccine and it's probably going to be ready soon. We should talk about that. So that's exciting. Beginning of this, when this was all a fucking nightmare, we were like, "Hey, hopefully this will take maybe less time than the vaccine that's taken the shortest amount of time before, which was 4 years." And it was March when this lockdown started. Remember how long ago that was and how innocent we all were compared to now, when we found like the darkest quarters of our brain and questioned our own humanity, and things descended into borderline civil war, and we were like, fascism is upon us. And oh shit, it's way different this week, isn't it? Right? Like, I can't handle this much good news all at once. I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I might have fallen and hit or maybe this is the COVID dream. Maybe this is the COVID coma where I'm dreaming that like Biden won the election. Oh my God. If you're not one of my patrons, we haven't chatted since that. It's been a weird weekend. Things are kind of okay right now. I don't even know what to I need a tall sip of something just to Alan Cooper. You can't see me right now, but I'm shaking my head up and down. Scott Lisa. March, that was like 3 years ago. March was 17 millennia ago. Just it's been a rough summer and fall. Like, I feel like there have been weeks where I don't I remember when I had my friend Andrew Seidel, my friend and yours, who we all love Andrew. Like, a minute before we started that episode, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. And of course, Andrew is an attorney in DC. And it was just like, oh, that was a gutted episode. And like 2 weeks later, I was talking to a friend, before we started that episode, and we thought, like, I had it in my head that Ruth had died just the week before, and because we're in just such a, what is time anymore moment, I was like, yeah, I can't believe she just passed away last week. He's like, that was 2 weeks ago. It's a weird thing where I've lost track of time completely. We were me and my housemates were talking the other day. I'm like, do you guys realize that it was only 8 months ago when we voted in the California primary? They're like, what? 8 months? Yeah. Like that's how long that was. The primaries were still going on. I believe the primaries were like either 8 or 9 months. There were still Democratic primary debates like 8 months ago. That's a thing they were still doing. So it's been, if you feel like your sense of time has gotten fucked this year, yeah, it's okay. It's too many, like there's been many years worth of news in this year. Like there was this wonderful special from Lewis Black during the Bush administration called Red, White, and Screwed. I loved it. And he has, friends who would say to him, this must be a great time for you comics. You have all this material. And he's like, no, this is an awful time for comics because you'll see something in the news that's fucking mind blowing and crazy. And you're like, oh, I could make a bit out of that. And by the time you've finished writing that bit, 47 other fucking things have happened. We want a nap. I can't, like, just the fucking volume of bullshit. Like I'm looking forward to having just like a normal amount of bullshit to deal with. Like it's normally explaining the science is not the thing I do. Explaining away the bullshit is the thing I do. And it's like, I kind of had to switch to explaining the science because just the fire hosing of bullshit. It's like, how do you do that? Like the people who kind of are already on board that like can recognize the bullshit, they're with you. But like there are so many, there's such a volume of disinformation that if somebody's already kind of going that way, it's hard to, by the time they kind of, Buddy has opinions on bullshit. By the time they've started going down that path, they've already been fire hosed so hard with so much disinformation that you can't keep up with it. So it's been a very hard and frustrating time. My husband just got home. My dog is very excited about it, as am I. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to being able to get a foothold in sanity again. Michael Block just said, my state in Australia has now had 0 new cases for 14 days, now down from a high of over 700 cases per day. See, you guys did a real lockdown. This is something that I feel like I have to keep explaining when people are like, when some people are like, we locked down in America and it didn't help anything. No, what we did in America is some people stayed home for a little while and some people are still staying home, but most people did not really lock down. It looks like America didn't even cut down on its movement by half. That's how, so like some people have been staying home have started at the beginning of the lockdown staying home, have kept staying home. And then there are people who really stayed home for like 2 weeks and they were like, I can't do this for more than 2 weeks. Sorry. And just went right out. It's like, and I have friends who are starting to crack now. And these are friends who believe in science but like they are cracking at kind of the worst possible time. Like, do you see the reports of ICUs filling up of every state, every quarter of the country? Things are getting as bad as they could possibly be. And now is when you're like, this is just too much government infringement on my freedom. I got to go cough on grandma on Thanksgiving. Like it, I've said it before. I've been deeply honest with you guys about how emotionally hard this is. Like for me, for you guys, for everyone. Like Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's my mom's favorite holiday. I haven't been home for a few years for it anyway. And this year, like it kind of hurts extra more because like if you have older relatives, and my mom is she's the 29th 69-year-old nice you've ever met. But like that's the thing about your parents getting older is like you look at it during the time of coronavirus and there's a part of you that goes, I want to go home to see my mom because what if, like even with my mom being in annoyingly good health, the only thing that's ever wrong with her is she has a sore knee. It's, she's in great health, amazing health. But just being older is a risk factor for this, and part of me is like, I want to see her just in case, just in case. But also, what if I'm the thing that makes something happen? What if me going home is the thing that causes the case? And that's why it's like, I can't go home. So this is like my plea before we go into explaining a bit about vaccines. If you're please, 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 motherfucking please, if you're considering having a big old get together for Thanksgiving, we are so close to having a vaccine out and ready. It's, you know what? Turkey tastes just as good in June. You guys can get together a few months from now. Wait till all the necessary people are. I'm like, do I have a little thing on my lip, or is that the screen? It's a shadow from this. Never mind. But yeah, please, wait the few months. We are so close. So just we're right. The tip is right there. Just go, give it a few months. There's nothing special about this Thursday in November when you got to get together for a fried turkey with the extended family. All right, just please, give it. You don't have to get together for these times. Like, if you love grandma, tell her you'll see her in a few months because you want her lungs to still be working for next year's Thanksgiving. So like I said, I really miss my mom, and it kills me deeply. Like I said, I've been crying about this a lot, and I have to work really hard not to cry when I'm talking about this. So yeah, I feel you guys on this when you want to go home and see your parents, and your grandparents want, the grandparents want to see the kids. Like, I get this. But yeah, please stay home. If you're in a position where, if you're in a place in the world where it's warm enough that you can have an outdoor kind of socially distanced Thanksgiving, be careful with it, but that's kind of the only way you could do it. But yeah, you have to be careful with who's going in and out of the house for hand washing, for bathrooms, those kind of things. You got to be really careful if you're going to do any sort of get together. But I would just say, if you have to hop on a flight for it, don't. If no one of the family has, just, this is not the year. We'll see our friends again one day. We're going to see each other again soon, just not yet. Anyway, so now that we've had that really stern plea, because like I said, it's coming soon. We're almost there. The thing that's coming soon is vaccines, you guys. This is awesome. So Pfizer came out and said that they kind of early they've got a vaccine. They've got a vaccine that they are partway through the trial, and they have evidence that it is 90% effective, which is more effective than they were expecting. Like, I've kind of read through a bunch of different journalists, their take on it, and I've read through both the Pfizer press releases and a couple different analyses of it, and it's like, what, they're saying it's 90% effective. So let's start here. What does 90% effective even mean for a vaccine? So like at this point, so we have 60,000 people in this trial. So about 30. So far, from what I read, 45,000 people, I believe, have been administered. I'm a little off on the numbers. I think it was 43 some odd. So let's just say 45,000 people so far administered in the trial. Half have gotten the vaccine, half have gotten the placebo. And what they do is they kind of monitor and they want a certain percentage to have gotten COVID, basically. And they monitor to see what percentage of those have the vaccine and what percentage of those have the placebo. And based on that, they come up with, they do some fancy pants calculations and see what percentage of those are, based on that, they see how effective the vaccine has been at preventing it compared to placebo. And basically, when you keep seeing, and like the board of people that are looking at this, these are not people who are working on the trials. Like, the people who have received the shots don't know, who's received placebo, who's received vaccine. The people who are administering the trials, like I'm obviously not in Pfizer's trial. I'm in the J&J trial. They're actually run out of the same facilities. Like, one of my housemates is in the Pfizer trial, and we go to the exact same, like the same staff, the same building. is managing all of these trials, which is it's fantastic. Like that way they're running it very very smoothly. Like if you have ever once if you're curious about it and you're like, look, I want to see if I can cut the line for this vaccine. I want to help get these trials moving. Don't be nervous about it. They are, number one, incredibly safe and hygienic and whatnot, and how they're managing the facilities. And it's you got a 50% shot at getting the vaccine. It's Pfizer has at this point reported no major side effects. It seems to be that the most common side effects are, sore arm, some fatigue, and a low-grade fever for up to 3 days. But none of the like, holy shit, things are going to be permanently damaged that you get from having COVID. And nobody is, just to be clear, nobody is catching COVID from these vaccines. COVID is not in it is not a deadened strain or a live attenuated virus, as we call it. There's no full it is not in this thing. You cannot catch COVID from any of these vaccines. Not a single one. Want to be clear about that. So 90% effective means basically they've looked at this so far, and I've read two different numbers in two different articles, but I believe I read that at this point they're looking for 164 people out of the 60,000 to get COVID total. At this point, and I read in one article that it was 62 people, and one article that it was 91 people. So some amount of people at this point between both the placebo group and the vaccinated group have gotten have gotten COVID. And looking at those numbers, basically they're like, all right, if this vaccine was less effective, we would see a higher percentage of these people who've gotten COVID from the group that have received the vaccine. But it looks like a really, really high percentage of the people that have gotten COVID. So out of these 90, like they haven't released the numbers yet, so this is speculative, but out of the 90 some odd percentage or 91 some odd people that have gotten COVID, it seems like I'm going to guess it's in the 80 some odd people who were probably in the placebo group. So hi, Steve Gadlin, love you. Anyways, so that's kind of how they calculate it out and go, all right, so we've got, it's like if this thing was less effective, we would see a much higher percentage of the, if there's a more even split, someone can go, oh, it's a coincidence. It's not but like when you keep seeing over and over and over again a pattern that the people who were in this placebo group are the ones that keep getting sick with it, and only a few of the people that have gotten sick are in the vaccine group, it does kind of give that it is very the extrapolation is that this is an effective vaccine. Now there are going to be caveats for that, and we also don't know, does 90% effective mean in those 10% of people, are they getting less severe cases? Are they developing, and we're not sure, and that's something that I haven't seen in the data yet. I don't know, so they're and that's something I haven't seen in the Pfizer data plan, because I know what's happening over in the J&J data, and I'm gonna guess that they're run kind of similarly. So I had my first checkup today. So, and I know my roommate has said that she's gone through kind of similar things at her checkup. So here's what this kind of goes through. So you go after a month, and it's kind of 1 month, and I thought it was going to be every 3 months, but I have to go in a month from now again for another checkup. So I guess it's 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, and then after that it kind of moves out to 3 months out, then 6 months out, and they're checking to see if you've had on every Monday and Thursday you have to fill out a little app saying, have you had any symptoms of COVID? So the entire time they're checking if you've had symptoms, and then because when you go and you do a blood test, that way they can see if you've had they're checking to see if you have antibodies or active COVID when you go in and do a blood test, obviously, and that way they can see if you've had if you're one of the people that's had the vaccine, they'll know if you've had symptomatic COVID or obviously asymptomatic COVID, which is fantastic. They'll be able to tell from that 90%, they're going to be able to give us a little bit more information, like as more data comes out. Like, does 90% mean 90% not getting it all? That last 10%, they were reporting asymptomatic, but they came back with but 10%, like, but some of them came back with a positive test result. We're not sure. And it's like, basically, does 90% mean a 90% reduction in cases from versus placebo? So these are things that we'll see a little bit more as the data comes out. Let's see. Thank you for clarifying, Martha. For the Pfizer trial, we only fill out the app once per week. You lazy. No, I'm just kidding. But you guys get to go to get 2 injections. I'm just curious, Martha. Do you because I know I've heard from a couple different people who are in the Pfizer trials that either after, like, some people got like a really strong reaction after one injection, and some people got like after the first, they only got like a really strong reaction after like either the first or either the second injection. Like my housemate, reaction after the first one but not the second, and one of the people that she met after the second trial, or after the second injection, was like, yeah, I was fine at the first one. Second one sent me to bed for 2 days. So but it seems to be the same thing over and over and over again, that people are saying, yeah, either they, felt nothing, and like there's about a 50% chance, it seems, at least from the J&J trial, from a couple of people who were running the Janssen trials that I spoke to, like you have about a 50% chance of not even getting a sore arm with the J&J vaccine. But with I'm not sure what the percentages are with I guess there's a troll in the comments. As I always, just fucking ignore the troll. Like it's what's the troll's name? I can get in there and ban him. I just need my phone. Hold on. Like, if it'll make it easier, give me the troll, like, just tell me what the troll's name is, and I'll go in there and do some fucking pruning of the human race. Just sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do. But yeah, that is about where we got. Let's see. One of Troy Knapp said, one of my friends that got the Moderna shot reacted strongest after the second shot. Yeah, that seems to be the case with a few of them. Jay just asked over on YouTube. Troll, it's Jay. This is being piped into a couple different platforms. So I believe that the troll is over on Facebook. This is who I'm on the hunt for. Look, just don't. I don't have it in me to keep trolls around today. Look, if you drove to Orange County today too, you wouldn't have it to put up with trolls either. Okay, just don't go to Orange County and put up with trolls in the same day. It's not okay. It's not okay. Anyways, eventually my phone's going to be like, I will. Eventually, my phone will load this, but just ignore Chris for now. Just let him scream into the void. A lot of men with tiny penis problems do that, and you got to let him scream it out, man. It's what happens when they're not going to their therapist regularly. So sorry about that, Chris. Oh, better to delete you than debate you, Chris. You're not exactly like a mental giant here. This is just to let you know. I know you have an inflated sense of self, but you're not. You're looking at a funhouse mirror when you're getting whatever sense of self you've got there. Just it's what we need to do here. So you gotta go. Maybe Parlor is more your speed. I hear that that's where people go when they want to take their ball and go home. So, but I hear it. Just go over there. Parlor might be your people. Go. Shoot, child. Shoot. I don't have it in me. Oh, poor little incels. Hold on. We'll find. We will. We can get rid of this guy. It won't be a problem. Someone said, remember, trolls can't regenerate from fire damage. Oh, here we go. Ban user. Thank you. Don't worry. All right. We will not be seeing any more of one Mr. Chris. So that was longer than it had to be and a little annoying. But you know what? He can go over to Parlor now where they enjoy that kind of bullshit. So that's that's all we got for that. So anyways, back to vaccines, which is what we came here to talk about. So anyways, there was a little bit about what 90% effective kind of translates to, because it's basically give people the vaccines, give 60,000-ish people, and they're still working on it. They still have 15,000 more people to go until they've kind of filled out the whole. Dan said, you should pronounce parlor the original French way just to piss them off. I pronounce it that way just because that seems to be the way that these idiots pronounce it. So I refuse to say to I refuse to play ball with these idiots. Did he just say crybabies? Just, oh, you poor little thing. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Somehow I had not managed to block him before. There we go. Nice. All right, Chris is gone now. He should be gone. Chris, just if you're coming here to just be angry, like, can I recommend a lube brand for you so you can get that energy out somewhere, dude? Just this is just as masturbatory, but instead you're getting it all over my keyboard. Get that out somewhere else. Get it out elsewhere. I'm not the place for this. Anyways, so back to vaccines. It's a couple of people are saying, pretty sure it's pronounced parler. We could always go with je parle and go very French pronunciation on it, but like, anyways, they can go the fuck over to the place where they all take their ball and go home. I don't have the je ne le vois pas. I don't want to deal with no, out of here. Get the fuck out. Thank you, Angela, for sticking up for me. Guys, her last name is D'Entremont. I'm pretty sure she knows how to pronounce it. Yes, exactly. I'm calling it parlor because that's what they named it. So, and they're American, and none of their fucking douchebags are going to pronounce it correctly. So I'm going to keep on calling that. Michael Sims. Wait, what did I just join to? Just you're here to look. You're here for occasional screen licks and talking about the COVID. Look, you know what I actually call COVID? I call it douche lord safe space. Douche lord safe space. That is what it is. Like, you want to, but you know what's funny? They ban pornography and poop. So I guess you can't post pictures of the president and first lady. So that's unfortunate. Anyways, so let's get back to talking about COVID and the vaccine. So let's talk a little bit about how this vaccine works from Pfizer, because we all know that there are a bunch of different vaccines. Peter said, just having a vaccine French name counts for less than zero. My mom's first language was French. I learned it in college, and I have 2 French housemates in grad school, so I do speak a decent amount of French. I am not fluent, but I can survive in it. Anyways, back to Ryan Blackhawk. They're already banning people on Parlay. Why am I not? Of course, they're banning people on Parlay. Like, and here's the thing. I think I signed up for a Parlay account ages ago because I keep getting their bullshit mailers in my promotions mailbox. So it's like, oh man, and every single email is just, the left is banning free speech. I'm like, I want to do an experiment and like just take screen caps of anything I post in there. I just post stuff that is moderately left of center and see how long I'm in there until they're like, nah, we're prudent this from the it won't survive. Like, they say they're all about the free speech, but what they mean is it's like I said, douche lord safe space. So that's all I got for that. So anyways, back to vaccines. We're going to talk about that. So anyways, the Pfizer vaccine is an mRNA vaccine, so messenger RNA. So, and this is kind of new. This is a thing that is not typical for our for what we're used to for vaccines. Like, so when we classically think about a vaccine, we think deadened strain of a virus, shove it into you, your body goes, it's kind of a virus. I'm going to learn how it's my invader attack. And your body learns, like, your body thinks it actually has the thing in there, and your immune system has a reaction and goes and builds up the antibodies and fucking attacks it. And your body's like, I'm ready for when the real thing comes. It's like a scrimmage for when you have the real basketball game. But In this case, it's doing something a little bit different. Instead of having a scrimmage, it's like sending in someone with the vaccines. It's like sending in the plans. You're getting a copy of the virus's plans and not the whole virus. So with the mRNA, you're basically getting a little bit of the messenger RNA that's telling it how to build one little part. This is absurdly safer than some of the older vaccines. So you're getting a tiny little messenger RNA that tells it to build specifically that spike protein. So it gets in there, gets injected into your arm, and your body starts building a buttload of these spike proteins. And you're like, but what? Why is it making the spike Don't make it make the spike protein. It's okay. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. Make all the spike proteins you want. But just the spike protein alone, when it's not attached to anything else, is fine. It's like having it's like giving your body the key while it's not attached to the serial killer that wants to get into the house. We left the serial killer home, just gave you the key. Anyways, but your body is learning how to take this key and just gum it the fuck up, because that's all you need to do to stop this thing from getting into your cells, is have your body learn to recognize and fucking attack this spike protein. So anyway, messenger RNA goes in, your body coats it up. Anyways, makes a bunch of these spike proteins, and your immune system goes to work recognizing it and making antibodies. And it also, from what I read, you get T cell immunity to it. And anyways, you get a pretty decent load of immunity to this based on just recognizing the spike protein, which is fantastic. That's all you need. So this is how an mRNA vaccine works. Now, compared to, hold on a second, I actually prepared for this for once because I had talking points I wanted to get to, and I wanted to punch these in here a little bit early, because there is so all of these kind of work kind of similarly, but kind of differently, because the main way they've been going about this, right, is how do we stop this from getting into cells? So they've all kind of been going after that spike protein, right? Like I feel like there's no one on the planet, it's people who have not been to school, who have not touched a science textbook in like 40 years, are like, spike protein, I know everything about it. I'm an expert on spike protein. It's like, I taught college biochem for a year, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to pretend I'm an expert on spike proteins too. But like, I'm just reading what I can to make sure that I can translate this to non-scientist speak. But like, basically every single vaccine that's not and that isn't some sort of a live attenuated, or I don't think they're doing any live attenuated, but basically every vaccine that isn't some sort of a dead microbe vaccine seems to be using specifically that spike protein. The difference between Pfizer and J&J is that J&J is using they're using an adenovirus vector. So basically, off of this dead adenovirus, they have spike protein, and a lot of some of the newer vaccines are using this adenovirus vector. So there are several other vaccines that are out that are using the adenovirus vector. So basically it goes into your system, your body reacts to this the spike protein on the adenovirus vector, hopefully gets immunity to the spike, not the adenovirus. Now, there was a vaccine that came out of China, the Sinovac, that had questionable immunity, and it was because they found that in some people their body was responding to the adenovirus and not to the spike, and that doesn't seem to be the case with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I read a couple different papers on it. It seems that 98 to 99% of recipients of it in their earlier trials. Now, this was a much smaller trial than the one that I'm in. This was like less than 100 people. They had like almost pretty much everyone in that trial developed wild type immunity or wild type antibodies to SARS-CoV-2. Mom has entered the chat. So that's very exciting. So we have evidence at this point that both of these confer that we know at this point that there is more than 90% effectiveness after we see it in a large population study with Pfizer, and with J&J, we see that it confers, that it confers antibodies in a large percentage of people. But we just need to see that working on a large scale now too, because antibodies, we need to make sure, like, as much as antibodies are great, like, and we often think antibody equals immunity, we have to remember antibodies don't always, like, we need to make sure these are functional antibodies, and that when we have these out in the wild, people are able to stay healthy. So we have to wait for data to come in from this, but promising as fuck. So two different ways to get to the same thing. The more vaccines that come out that work, the better, because we need to have multiple places manufacturing them. We need to have multiple places able to distribute and get the supply chain on these going. So the more of these out, the fucking better. Anyway, so it's different technologies, same endpoint. Hopefully the data from them both comes in and works out. Let's see, scrolling through a couple more of the things that I wanted to get to. This is a big one, and here is the hardest question about this. Because like a lot of people have asked, how long do these vaccines last? And this is the shitty part. None of us fucking know. Beats me. Fucking search me. I don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Pfizer doesn't know. God doesn't know. If God exists, God doesn't know. We could pretend God exists and God still doesn't fucking know. I need more fluids. But yeah, and that is one of the problems specifically with coronavirus is that, like, even when you've had, because there are, as we've talked about here before, there are 4 endemic coronaviruses that operate kind of like common colds. And we don't know. I see a couple people chatting with Simom. Simom's first language is French. So if you guys want to chit chat with Simom in French in the comments, she would fucking adore you for it. So, but she has this amazing little Nova Scotia French accent. So I should probably drag Mom onto here eventually, just so she can like show me up at my occasional attempts at some French. But anyways, so here's the reason why these trials are running for 2 years. So I saw a couple, Christine Fultz just asked, can they run titers to check for drop-off in antibodies? That is an excellent question. So Missy just asked, what you drinking? I am drinking a sweet tea that is made with a Mio. And I like to say that this is just proof that I'm a trash panda when it comes to what I drink. Because I'm like, look, it's flavored. There's no sugar in it. I'll drink it. Tastes surprisingly like a brewed sweet tea. So congratulations to the flavor chemist that made that. Not bad. Anyways, so that is kind of why they're monitoring us for 2 full years for this, because I have to continue to see, like, they're monitoring, people who were, and I'm so sure that I got a placebo. But they're monitoring people who got the placebo to see how long, people, or how many people who had, the placebo will get it in the same amount of time that people who got the vaccine get. Like they need to see long-term data on effectiveness compared to placebo. One day I'll be able to speak normally. They need to see how many people will get it compared to placebo long term. They need to see if there are any long-term side effects compared to general population. They also need to see if there's how long we have T-cell immunity, how long we have antibodies that are detectable. So these are all things, and what percentage of people have them over what period of time. If there are different groups that it is less effective for over a certain period of times, like if you're older, do you need another injection sooner? If you're younger, do you need another injection sooner? So there are lots of things to take into account. There's also the question of if you're at a certain age, or if you're at a certain weight, all these different things. Do you need a higher or a lower dosage? So these are things we're going to kind of learn as we go over the course of a couple of years to see, like, when we get data at first, like, oh, okay, this is great. All these people have immunity. What's going to happen over the next 2 years? So that's why this trial goes on for 2 years. And that's why I'm like, okay, there are things that, like, part of me really, like, I'm praying I have the fucking vaccine, because I don't want to, like, I need to be vaccinated. I need to go back to my life. And that's like the kind of hard part about being in this and not knowing if you're if you're vaccinated or if you have the placebo, is that you're like, look, I signed up, partially to help move the science forward, and partially because, especially in my position where I have a lot of people looking at me going, hey, can you make me feel a little better? Can you you said you're pro-vaccine, prove it, take this fucking vaccine. I'm like, of course I will. But like, I also want, like, I did it because I was always willing to take an experimental vaccine in phase 3. I want that vaccine. Like, I wanted to move science forward, but I also want to move my immunity forward. Give me that fucking vaccine. So I hope that at some point they're going to move the people who signed up and got the placebo to the front of the line. I don't know when that will happen or if it will, and it's just it's depressing knowing that there just might be a really long wait, or if like we're just gonna have to stay unvaccinated for 2 years. But like they kind of know, like we all had conversations when we were sitting in the room when they said when we asked, like, hey, what's the deal if we get if we get the placebo here and something else becomes available first, they're like, yeah, you can drop out. We'll tell you if you had if you choose to drop out, we'll let you know what you had. And that's kind of the sad part, is what if we say we choose to drop out and they're like, oh, you actually had the vaccine? Like, do we fuck up medical research if we do? Like, I don't know how that works, but those are things that we are going to find out. But it's a 2-year long study, and that's part of how we find out how long these vaccines last, is continued monitoring of everyone that's in it. So glad to lend my immune system to it. Quick side note that I didn't add into the questions that I had planned to answer. Somebody asked about donating blood, and I was given a 3-month period where I was told not to. I don't know anything after that. I'm not sure if there's a specific reason why it was 3 months. But yeah, that was the only specific instruction I was given with regard to blood donation. I see my mom is chit-chatting back and forth with people. Mom is just letting everyone know exactly how to stalk us directly back to like within a mile of our hometown in Pubnico. So if you guys are ever on like the SciBabe tour of the Atlantic of the North Atlantic provinces, just you'll be able to hunt down my grandparents' old house. Cheers. But it's just, I demand that you go Frenchie shopping. That is my only demand. Go Frenchie shopping. Yeah, you'll be able to find a leather jacket for $8 that you'll love for a year. Anyways, it's David said, are the subtitles auto-generated? Yes, they are auto-generated because they're the best I've ever seen. Wish YouTube had subtitles like good. Yeah, like I have no idea how good or bad the subtitles are there. I know that I speak at about a zillion miles per hour. Something I've worked on for a long time, and this is about as slow as I can get it. I know it's fast. I hope the subtitles help a little bit. I don't know how much they help, but anyways, I hope they're helping some of you guys out there to keep up with the rate of Jesus fucking Christ slow down. So anyways, it's very cute watching you guys chit chat with my mom. Let's see. Eric said, I get my flu shot every year, including this year, and I haven't developed any mutant powers yet. Damn it. I keep hoping. Like, when I went into the COVID one, I'm like, if I turn into Spider-Man this time, I will be fucking thrilled. I'm pissed I didn't. Why else sign up for brand new untested drugs? Melissa knock leather jackets for $8 time. Look, I shit you not. If you're ever, when one day vacationing is a thing we're allowed to do again, go to Nova Scotia, go Frenchie shopping. That is all. Just trust me on this. It's a thing. Generations of Nova Scotian women have clothed themselves and their families with Frenchie shopping. Just go with me on it. Anyways, so let's go back through a few of the questions that I wanted to make sure we got to. Somebody asked this, and I wanted to get to it because I think this was on the CDC's website that they had mentioned. Do masks protect the wearer as well? And I know that for a long time, long time, we've been saying the masks are not for you; they're for everyone else. Guess what, motherfucker? They're for you too. What? Indeed, masks are going to help you too. How is that possible? So masks kind of offer protection. Like, and there was a really great video from SciShow. If you don't, SciShow is a really great channel over on YouTube. Go check them out. They did a good explainer, kind of showing how there's it's kind of counterintuitive, because anytime you have people wearing masks, the math ends up being better than you expect. Like it's because basically you have whatchamacallit, a barrier in four directions when you have two people wearing masks, because you have a barrier from one person to the, like, it's you have because no matter what, even though the mask from you, like, we think about it as stopping a mask is just stopping droplets from coming out of you. The mask that you're wearing, even if, like, the main point of it is to stop particles from getting out of you, it's going to stop a few from getting into. And the other thing, it's rule of thumb from Jason, mask blocked 80% going out and 20% coming in. So that's the thing, it's not going to block everything. But if the person around you, the guy, say there's a person in the room who, they're not symptomatic yet, but they have the coronavirus and they don't know, and everyone in the room is masked, and we're kind of trying to keep our distance a little bit, just in case. And like I said, everyone's wearing a mask and they're wearing it properly. Guy has the mask on. That mask is going to catch the lion's share of those germs. And you 6 feet away are also wearing a mask. You might say you get enough germs on, say you get say just there are a couple possibilities here. One, you manage to not get a single viral particle on you. Unlikely, but possible. It depends on how long you're in that same little space. Possible that you don't get any virus on you. But if you're in there for a long enough period of time, eventually you might get a little bit of virus that sneaks through. But because you have both been wearing masks the whole time, the viral load that you get is so much lower that you're likely to have a less severe case. And this is an interesting thing that's been tracked with other diseases as well. When you get exposed to a lower amount of the virus, you seem to get less sick, which is, it's kind of interesting that the expression we use for chemicals and for other things that can make us sick, the dose makes the poison, and that seems to be true here too. So there are a couple of reasons why we've actually seen the rates of people dying when they're hospitalized go down. There are a couple different theories for that. One is that we're obviously getting, I've said this since the beginning, try really hard. If you're going to get sick with this, try really fucking hard not to get it right away, because as this goes on, we're going to get better at this. And we've gone from, I believe, about a 25% fatality rate in hospitals down to a little bit below an 8% fatality rate in hospitals. And it's partially because, as for a period, our hospitals weren't full up. Our hospitals weren't full, so doctors were able to give patients all the attention they needed. Now, with hospitals filling up again, that's a problem. There might be a chance that with overcrowding, we're going to see more of some of the types of problems we had, like when New York was full, when Italy and when Spain were full. That's a thing that will kill people. That's why we say stay the fuck home when things are getting bad like this. And it's why I renewed my plea of not just wear a mask, but stay the fuck home. Like, just stop. Don't go to a restaurant right now. Don't just stay home. This is not a good time to fucking test fate. Okay. It's not a good time to be like, well, it seems like everyone's masked. Yeah. Except for the 3 people who are wearing it like a fucking, it's not a good time to test fate. But yeah, it's, someone said 8% fatality rate means try not to get it in the first place. Let's be clear. That's 8% fatality rate for people who are hospitalized. So it's better than it was. It's still not great. That still means that we're seeing, it still means that we're not, depending on your age, your current health, your pre-existing health conditions, your weight, a number of things, there is still a good chance of you landing in the hospital, of you having long-term complications to this. And we're so close to having a thing that will prevent that entirely. So oh my God, Chris Rowland just said we had 150,000 plus cases in the US today. One of my friends posted a picture from their local walk-in clinic today, and they said they have never seen a line wrapped around the block at a local walk-in clinic. It's just, and I mean, I get it. That's an anecdote. Like I have to keep myself honest and say, this is an anecdote they shared with me. But this is where we are right now. We're back to where basically, remember how New York was beginning of this? That's everywhere in the US right now, and it's all our own fucking faults. This wouldn't have happened if anyone other than Donald Q fucking Trump doucheface was in charge and said, hey, maybe any plan other than no plan would have been better. But anyway, you know what, and I want to be clear about something. I know that Ray O'Neill just said we had 0 new cases in Nova Scotia today, 0 new diagnosed cases. Y'all had a couple cases this weekend, and I'm really glad that you're taking it seriously. My cousins live up there, and I saw people talking about the cases there. Please be careful, because when you have 3 cases diagnosed, it means there are probably other cases floating around. So wear your masks, all I'm asking. But I look at the number of cases that we have floating right now, and this is not going to go away without a major change to our strategy. Like, there is no strategy at the moment. There's none. People are just kind of going out and doing life. Susan Clark just said long-term. Just want to share this on the screen. Long-term update after a mild case. My daily headaches have finally ceased after 2 months. Girl, I feel, as someone who has a permanent headache condition, I fucking feel you. And 2 months of a headache is just like you had to have been in a fucking mood every day for 2 months with that. Like, there's no. It's Liz just commented, but I thought it was gonna go away after the election. Like, and it's like, I feel like I don't have to clarify this for you guys, but let's just be clear about something. Now, I know there are people trying to claim that liberals have been casting doubt on this vaccine for months just because it was being worked on under Trump. Oh, really? We were. Let's be clear about something. The doubt that was being cast was that there would be a vaccine ready before the election. Now, am I shocked that Pfizer came out this quickly right after yeah, I am really surprised. But the thing was, all the pharmaceutical companies and the FDA that has a lot of Trump appointees at the top of it, am I really shocked that they came out this soon after the election and said, hey, we have preliminary data that says this thing probably is ready for emergency approval? Yeah, I am. And I will absolutely take were I not in another vaccine trial, I would absolutely take this one during the Trump administration. I took a vaccine, an experimental vaccine during the Trump administration. I'm obviously not opposed to this, but what I was opposed to was him saying these are going to be ready, and he was giving the orders, because he's not a scientist or a virologist or a vaccine expert. He should not be calling those shots. Joe Biden, when president, should not be calling those shots either. Which is why I'm very glad that Joe Biden's like, yeah, I'm going to put doctors and scientists in charge of this. That's like, it's not that, I mean, I think everyone here gets this. None of us have like a love affair with Joe. We're not all like, this is who I want. Like, we're just happy that, scientists are going to be in charge of the science. That seems to be an okay place to be with this. I hope that, and my high hopes for this are that we manage to get out of the following year with an intelligent, with a well-planned strategy for the rollout of this and the future vaccines. Because I'm sure that after this, there's going to, more than likely, because there's going to be a rollout of this vaccine, right? And first, first and foremost, more than likely, I hope the plan is going to be healthcare workers, right? Because if they get sick, they can't help out the rest of us. Oliver is in front of my light now, because of course, Oliver, if you come here, you can love the people miss you, my boy. Nah. He has found his light. He just needs to go to the spotlight. Anyways, first up, obviously, healthcare workers, because if they get sick, they can't take care of us. And afterwards, people who are at risk populations and people who are other types of essential workers, and then trickles down to everyone else. Now, and this is something that, mentioned before, there are people who are going to be vaccine hesitant, no matter what, for a long fucking time. I appreciate you too, Steph Peterson. There are going to be people who are going to be vaccine hesitant for a long goddamn time. And you know what? there's not going to be enough vaccine for them for a long goddamn time either. So don't worry too much about people who are vaccine hesitant. Just let them watch you going back to your life, enjoying it, not having to wear a mask soon, going to a movie theater without being worried about getting a disease that's going to chew your lungs up alive. And then maybe they'll go, huh, you got the vaccine and you were fine? Maybe there's something in this vaccine business you're telling me about. So that's my thought on the whole. There are a bunch of people who are terrified about getting vaccinated. I'm more terrified about a disease that's going to give me another chronic illness, because there's just a lot of there's it's Bonnie Rock King just said vaccine hesitant is such a kind way to say, you know what, I'm using vaccine hesitant just for this vaccine, because I know people who someone just said Oliver's shadow is on the wall. No, that's the shadow of this. This is I've got my own kid ears. I'm using vaccine hesitant specifically for this one, because I know people who are normally very, very pro-vax, and I have to put out the caveat that who knows, maybe these are Russian bots. But like, I've seen a lot of people who at least are saying, normally I'm pro-vaccine and I'm just nervous because of how fast they did this. So, let's chit chat about that a little bit. Part of, and I get it, I'm preaching to the choir a lot here. I don't know. There might be some people. Rachel Ann just commented, I'm pro-vaccine and I'm hesitant. And that's the thing. Like, I get it. This thing went through really quickly, but let's chat a little bit about how this was able to be done. So we have a lot of components that go into vaccines that we already know are safe because they're in other vaccines. We have adjuvants, we have things that kind of help amp up the body's ability to make get your immune system to go, oh, I see this, I got this, I'm on it. So we've got things that we've already tested for other vaccines. So that's kind of how they were able to do to get this and make this go through faster, was instead of, because with vaccines, typically they go through and test the combination of each of the and I'm oversimplifying this. I'm sure I'm getting a few things wrong. If you're a vaccine researcher and you can give the more precise definition of this and of what's happening in here in the comments, please feel free to correct me. But normally they kind of test all the ingredients together to make sure for safety first. This time they're like, look, we know these are safe. We're gonna, get some of that data post hoc and add it back in, but we know these are safe. We've got the data from other stuff. Let's throw it in with this one new component. We only have one or two new components that we're adding in, and that's what we have to test for. I believe they did, minimal animal trials, or they started the animal trials before putting into humans, but they basically did phase 1 and 2 trials together. I'm not sure what the status was with animal trials, but it was very they were able to rush it because they grabbed the data on a lot of the components of it from previous things. So it's not that anything in this is not research. Don't worry about there being, components of this that they're like, we're just going to stick in cow brain for funsies. It'll be cool. Why not? Like, there's nothing in there that I was worried about going into this. The only thing that I was even remotely worried about was that I'd heard that it could give you, and here's the thing, and this is kind of evidence that your immune system is having a reaction. It's good. I was worried about what the side effects would be, only because I'd heard that it can give you a fever, and I fucking hate having a fever. But you know what? Everyone that I know that's had a fever from it, they're like, yeah, you just kind of get a fever for a night, and the next day you're fine. You're tired for a day. But those are the worst side effects I've heard. Those are the worst side effects that have been reported. There seems to be there have been zero reports of anything worse than, like I said, a low-grade fever, and that being 102 or lower for like a day, and up to 2 to 3 days of fatigue. Most people just get a sore arm. And I know with the J&J vaccine, like I said, half the people don't even get a sore arm with it, which is why I really don't know if I got it at all, if I got it or the placebo. So it's now time for Oliver Snuggles. Hi, baby. Oliver, you wanted this. He didn't know he did. Let's see. Marlene Smith asked, "Are you concerned with the mutation that's occurred in the mink population in the UK?" I have not read enough into that, but you know what? I will before. It's been a little bit of a week with the election stuff happening here, and me just celebrating and just randomly screaming out, "Donald Trump's not going to be president anymore." So I saw the mink story, but I didn't look into it enough. So I will have a peek into the mink story before tomorrow's stream. It's Rachel Ann. So similar to flu shot. Yeah, and that's like here's the thing, because I know that it is mutating at about a rate of that's about a third that of the flu, and we're probably going to need boosters for this for a couple different reasons. One, mutation rate, but two, because typically we do have a waning immunity to coronaviruses. So it might be that we need a booster every 2 to 3 years. It might be that we need one every. We're just going to have to monitor it. It's one of those things that, like, we talk about getting our titers checked, and it's a thing where like we don't often get our titers checked for things that we need to get vaccinated for, because we for most things, we have such a well-established length of immunity from these vaccines. So this is something that even people outside of the vaccine trials are probably going. I won't be surprised if they have titer checks as a more regular thing for this now. That I'm hoping will be covered by insurance, just so that people feel at least a little bit more safe about their immunity long term. So we'll see. Let's see. Some of the other phase 3 trials did show possible vaccine-enhanced disease, not Pfizer, but it's a vaccine-enhanced disease. Could you? What do you mean by vaccine-enhanced disease, Steve? I need some clarity on that. Like, do you mean vaccine? Do you mean a vaccine reaction, or like I need more information when you say something called vaccine-enhanced disease. That's a term that can come with a lot of different. Give me more. Let's see. California passed 1 million infections today. Let me just throw that onto the screen. Now, it's been interesting watching the data in different states for me, because I am a little bit of a data junkie. I love prattling on through it, and even though California, like the data's not great here. I'm not saying this to defend California at all. I'm not happy with how well we've done with, like, I feel like for us being I feel like for us being so pro science, we opened up bars and restaurants far too soon. The fact that we had things opening up as our numbers were climbing in LA was kind of embarrassing. But like looking at it, because there we go. I'm clicking on that so I can go back to your question soon, Steve. But like, it's the thing with California is that we've kind of had, like, there's never been like a spike with California. It's kind of been a slow build. But right now, because like everywhere else, it's gone up, and we've had all the same issues as everywhere else with schools open. Like, even though a lot of the major school districts have not opened in person, we've had a lot of the same issues as everywhere else. It's gone up quite a bit. And I say this, this major grain of salt. I'm not saying there's anything okay about 1 million people in the state having it. We do have the highest population in the country by over 10 million people. So the fact that we were pretty far behind some of the other high population states in hitting that many cases. I'm just saying like I said, I'm not defending California on this. I'm just saying we're not doing as fucking terribly as a lot of other places. That is my lukewarm defense of how California has done it. Like I said, lukewarm at best. Anyways, Steve Bensing said, it's when a vaccine makes an infection worse rather than better due to the particular antibodies produced in a subset of the population. I'd like to see a citation for that, because I've not seen a single instance of this happening, because a vaccine doesn't contain the infection. Like, you don't give the vaccine to a person who's infected with it, and the vaccine cannot cause the infection. So I don't know if I'm misunderstanding what you're saying, or if you're referring to something that I'm unaware of. But that's it's where I'm not sure if we're misreading each other, but I'd like to understand. So anyways, moving on a little bit. Let's see. I'm trying to scroll back through your comments, and I see someone saying it's the same thing as when they had the SARS vaccine, or same problem as when they were developing a SARS vaccine. And I'm not sure what that was a reply to. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question. Do you have any opinions on which vaccine seems like the best and safest right now? Hold on a second. It is hard to it's it's hard to say if there is a best right now, because number one, we don't have, like, we have a decent amount of preliminary data, right? It's I think I understand what you're saying now, Steve. I'll get back to that in a second. So like, we don't, like, unlike Pfizer, we don't have the preliminary data yet from J&J. Like, there are a couple of vaccines like J&J that are we have Buddy's having his little feelings right now. But there are a couple of vaccines like Johnson & Johnson that are that can be kept at, don't have to be kept in a deep freeze, right? The thing about the Pfizer vaccine is you need 2 doses, and it has to be kept very cold. So that is, Mike Johnson just asked, perhaps I missed it, which phase are our trials in currently? The trials for the ones we're talking about, about halfway through phase 3. So with these, the ones that are having there's like best, we need to see how effective the Pfizer or the J&J one is. Like, it seems like it's going to be fairly effective. Like, we need data from it first. Like, there are advantages to a few of them outside of the Pfizer one. Like, and part of the reason that that Pfizer has disadvantages, is Michael Houghton, or Houghton, I think it's Houghton, just commented, it has to be kept in -70, I believe, Celsius, which is fucking cold and fucking hard to transport at that temperature. That adds a lot to the cost of it. So the fact that other vaccines out there don't have to be kept in such a deep freeze, just have to be kept at kind of regular refrigeration until use, that gives them a big advantage, because there's already a supply chain that they can be put into. So that's going to give them a huge advantage in the global marketplace, in terms of being able to be transported, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if there's going to. The other thing is, especially with Johnson & Johnson, it's a one-shot vaccine, and getting people to come in for a booster is sometimes difficult. I know I was talking to one of the people who was working at Anaheim Clinical Trials, and they said that a lot of people are skipping their second dose for the Pfizer vaccine, which has been one of the hardest parts about getting that trial completed, is just people skipping their fucking second dose. If you're in that trial, don't skip your second dose. What are you doing? Go get both. You managed to be in this. Go get both doses. Gosh darn it! There are non-immunized kids in Africa. God damn, go get your dosage. Anyways, so just wanted to remind you, get both doses. Don't miss any of your stuff. And see, this one is a 2-shot. Canadian drug developer Medicago said that Tuesday has received promising early results from its plant-derived vaccine for COVID-19. The Quebec City-based company said interim results of phase 1 clinical trials found all subjects developed a response of a promising antibody response after 2 doses of its COVID vaccine. So we're still, is this to do? Let's see, that one they're working with GSK. It'll be interesting to see what comes out from that one. So, I mean, it's good every time we hear. I mean, that one just came out of phase 1, which is good. It's just going to be a longer time out. So, like, it just looks like, again, the more vaccines that come out that are usable, that are safe for a broad cross section of the population, and that work, the better, because it means the more vaccine we will have available, and the faster this is going to be over. Like, we just need as much as possible so that we can flood the healthcare system with it, so that we can have it all across the healthcare system and just have multiple supply chains set up. And that's going to be the hardest part this coming year, is equitable distribution. So fingers crossed. Let's see. scrolling through a few more of these. It's like, because I'm doing like the typical live stream tomorrow, so there are going to be a lot more questions, but I just wanted, I just got back from Anaheim clinical trials and did my second thing today. So I wanted to update you on that. All they did today was take a little blood. Here's the thing, when you go in for this, there's no indication, like when you go in for day the next of what's happening. Like there's no, like, here's the tip off that you had the vaccine or no, I still have no idea. I don't know. I won't know, which sucks. But anyways, they had a couple of extra papers to sign because of the pause in the study, and they basically explains the pause in the study. It's all like they're they are so on top of everything you have to sign off on. Like anytime any changes, bumps, whatever, they're like, yeah, it's every about twice a week they come in with a new version of this to sign. So I'm sure next time I go in, I'll have a new 37-page copy of the study to sign. So we will see. So I'm just trying to keep you guys abreast of that. Anyways, but Buddy is letting me know that he has opinions, and they're very important. Anyways, let's see. Are people not taking the second dose from the Pfizer trial potentially because of I'm guessing, and I say this just because I know how humans work, Caleb. I think the people are not taking the second dose from the Pfizer trial because humans suck, and sometimes they're like, oh, I just forgot. It's also possible that they didn't show up to the second one because they just don't think they need more than one. Like, how many times have people forgotten other vaccine boosters that you need a second one? That's a thing that happens. But the thing with the Pfizer trial, like here's the thing. I said that I see that you commented and you mentioned that it was high fevers and joint pains. I have not seen reports of joint pains. I've seen reports of low-grade fevers and fatigue and a sore arm, but I haven't seen crazy side effects like that. Like that's the other thing is, I think that everybody I think that everybody who goes into these trials understands that the option is a couple days of feeling a little under the weather versus a disease that can fill your lungs with fluid and drown you in your own lungs. And nobody has drowned in their own lungs from this. Nobody has gone into ARDS from this. Nobody has had blood clots or strokes or any of those things from this. So, couple of days of leg cramps, if that's the worst that ends up coming out of one of these shots, sign me up for that once a year if I never get COVID-19. So anyways, that's about where I'm gonna wrap this up for the day, because I'm going to see you guys fucking tomorrow. But thanks for hanging out, chat a little bit about vaccines. It's been a fun day of driving down to Anaheim and back. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow at 5 Pacific as usual. I make my plea for you guys to come join me in my, hold on a second. Let me just, I have a caption I can put up on the screen for this. Probably, hopefully. Hold on a second. I say this, and then of course I cannot find the caption. Anyways, there are links in the description of it. They're in some direction from here. Join me on Patreon, or if you want to drop a one-time donation into my PayPal. Again, straight down there. Or if you just feel like buying me candy, there's a link to my Amazon wish list. Send me candy. Send me fruit roll-ups. Send me Diet Coke. I don't, just do things to make me feel better about how crazy this planet is. Look, I did some informing. Help me out. Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.